Right, so this is the second presentation from VP 4. This one is an ongoing project that I've been working on with my colleague Nitha Palakshappa, who's based in New Zealand and who's part of VP4. And this particular case study engages with the agrarian crisis, which is the increasing crisis caused by industrial agriculture and economic globalization. And the crisis has led in the global south to a number of creative responses to try and seek alternative solutions to the human and environmental cost of the crisis. I am not, of course, going to belabor the severity of the problem. I think all of us in this Zoom room can agree how crucial it is, but I will say that the need to look at creative alternatives has never been more acute. So what are we actually trying to do in this case? We are asking what these creative alternatives look like in the context of the need to build, I've said circular economies, but we've settled on the term circularity in the context of the need to build circularity and attempts to create value loops. And we do that by examining the case from the organic cotton textile industry, and that's Apache Ecologic. Apache is an organic cotton initiative in South India, and its associated brand, Ethicus. Over the last 20 years or so, it's developed a pretty creative social and environmentally sensitive venture in a largely rural subsistence context, and has tried to build a model that places the generation of profit alongside goals of sustaining rural livelihoods, promoting food, income, and employment security, and nurturing conditions for biodiversity to flourish, and thereby attempting to create a circular value system that spreads value as much as it extracts value, thus broadening the circle, if you will, to involve more and more actors, methods, voices, and points of view. So, what we do in the paper that we've just written on this is we use the case to discuss what we see as two fundamental features of circularity, which is regeneration and redistribution. And what we're seeing in the case is an approach to circularity that integrates social dimensions with environmental ones, instead of assuming, like much of the literature on circular economy does, that environmental aspects of circularity have to be dealt with first in order for social goals to social equity issues to be engaged with. That is, regeneration and redistribution go hand in hand. And we've identified about 12 instances of where this is the case, and because of time, I'm only going to go through 3 here. So one of the things that that Apache has done is they've tried to translate rural farmers' affective attachments with land, history, and care into an enthusiasm for organic cotton farming. And in our field visits, we've noticed that actually has not taken a lot of work, because farmers already use organic methods that are highly traditional, and several farmers already grow non-hybrid forms, non-hybrid cotton in a small patch at the back of their hut that does not use fertilizer, even as they plant acres and acres of cotton seeds that do. So there's already sort of an enthusiasm and an eagerness to try and revert to more traditional systems of growing cotton. Apache also has worked with weavers who actually migrated into that particular part of the country more than 300 years ago to base their creative design process in the weaver's own sometimes suppressed traditional knowledge about patterns, motifs, colors, weaving methods. And this has been an interesting thing that they've done, because it was sort of a quote unquote market risk. It was not what the market wanted, but as soon as the weavers started doing that, more and more weavers wanted to get involved in the process, and it ended up being quite a success. A lot of consumers ended up wanting those clothes. A third example that we discuss in the case is, are there attempts to shorten the supply chain itself by removing brokers, including seed brokers, who traditionally mediate between mills and farmers and allow for benefits to accrue directly to farmers in the form of making sure that they get market premiums. So I'll close with talking about three challenges. One is, of course, the precarity of the circle. Crop failure, political pressures, market fluctuations, subsistence livelihoods all conspire to make this a rather fragile circle. A second is issues of scale. There's always pressure to scale up. And the real challenge is how to create a modular system rather than a big one. And the third is what we've called economism. And what we see as broadening the circle is a communicative process, not an economic one. And the process of integrating regeneration and redistribution is communicative. And that's why we refer to circularity throughout the paper. And that's still in development, but this helps us think about what voice looks like in a circular system. I'll close there. Thank you.